Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we are going to have a little discussion on the history of the jack-o'-lantern. Uh, the idea of the jack-o'-lantern, as far as these vegetables that have been carved with faces, goes back quite a ways, but where we see the connection um, the most is with the use of carving out turnips and other vegetables at the time of Halloween in the Gaelic speaking areas, the Scottish Highlands, Ireland. So it is very connected to that part of history. They use turnips and other devices, other vegetables, not devices, um, instead of the pumpkin. They also used Mangelwurzel, um, or the mango beet, whatever. There's different names for it apparently. But they use those as their vegetables that they would carve the faces into. Um, and apparently they would also use them as a form of a lantern. Um, but yeah, um, but the idea is to ward off evil spirits. Um, but yeah, the actual idea between the jack o' lantern, the name, there's a tale of a stingy jack um, in Irish myth. And it's about a man who um, decided he was going to have a drink with the devil and convince the devil to turn himself into a coin. Once the devil did, Jack decided to keep the money and put it into his pocket next to a silver cross, preventing the devil from changing back into his original form. He eventually decided to free the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year, and that should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack again tricks the devil by climbing it, and tricking him into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. Once he was in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down, and the devil agreed not to bother him for 10 more years. Soon after, Jack dies, but God wouldn't allow such a character into heaven. But the devil agreed to the terms set by Jack, and so Jack didn't need to go to hell either, and was sent off into the night with only a burning coal to light his way. And Jack put the coal into a carved out turnip, roaming the earth ever since. Some people believe this is perhaps the name of jack-o'-lantern. It's connected anyway. But yeah, the idea of the carved out lamp faces would be used in other parts of the British Isles. Uh, again, Ireland, Scottish Highlands, and it does arrive in England. We see it in many places in England, like Somerset and Worcestershire. So yeah, but yeah, and with the arrival of the Irish and Scottish immigrants into the U.S., it morphs, and we see it change into pumpkin, this which is a much bigger vegetable to use to carve out the faces and place and use as a lantern. And we get the idea. It kind of gives us the modern day idea of the jack o' lantern. But yeah, it the actual idea seems to enter American English at the earliest we see in 1834. So yeah, it's been with America for a while. And the idea of the actual carved pumpkin lanterns association with Halloween uh, is linked back to November the 1st, 1866, from an edition of the Daily News of Kingston, Ontario. So, the early to mid 1800s is when we really see the idea of the pumpkin as the jack o' lantern. And it has stuck around ever since. We see later tales, the legend of Sleepy Hollow and such. So yeah, it really connects there, the jack o' lantern. But that was all really for this episode. It's just a short little tale on the jack o' lantern itself. As always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I will be listing the sources for this episode in the description below the video. And I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.